Hello and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is Alan and I am your host, Django Moto 1911, for anything watches, motorcycles, tech gears, and some random stuff. It's 2:41. Hello and welcome to the channel. Good morning. For some reason, this watch just started to conk out, and it's 2:52 in the morning. It's January 22nd, and last night, just here in the Philippines, Jose Abad Santos, there was a 7.1 magnitude earthquake. So at around 8 o'clock in the evening, here in our place, an aftershock was felt, and it was kind of strong. I'm guessing it's around 4.5. I hope everyone's okay in Jose Abad Santos. That's jazz. That's a strong quake, 7.1. Anyways, in for today's episode, we're going to be talking about the 5 reasons why you should buy homage watches. Now, homage, it just basically means in honor of, paying tribute, doing something in honor of. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So let's go ahead and delve into this topic. This topic is very polarizing. One end just doesn't like homage watches, other end it's all they can afford. So it's basically this end having the money to buy the real thing, and the other end is the normal guys that can just afford about the right price, and anyone in between. So it's up to you where you are. This is just basically a healthy conversation of me giving my own inputs on what the homage watches can bring to you if ever you are in the market for such a watch. I'm gonna cite 5 reasons, and this is in order. It's all about my opinion. You can of course state your opinion in the comments below, and we can converse so that you would get an idea of what's the feel, what's the consensus when it comes to homage watches. So number 5, the fifth and the most obvious reason would be the price. Now homage watches, they would usually be around the 10th of the price. Let's say a $10,000 watch. An homage watch would probably be around 1,000, maybe even less. So just on that aspect alone, how many in your friends do you know can afford a $10,000 watch? Well, that would answer your question. Not much. So, for the 10th of the price or less, you can get a watch that is homaging a nice watch that you would probably be wanting. That's a very valid reason. There's no point waiting for a watch that you cannot afford and then you don't have a watch. It would just be nice to have a watch that you can afford that still has that same essence. Now going on to the 4th reason, this could be controversial. The 4th reason for me is it is good for the watch industry. Oh, wait, I have my shield. Well, we know that the big guys do multi-million-dollar campaigns for their ads and marketing. Now, when I say it is good for the entire watch industry, most of the guys that do homage watches, they are micro brands, small-time businesses, small-time kickstart watchmakers that would want to get a foothold into the watch industry. They usually do an intro batch, and that will be something that is in homage of, something that they can sell really fast, something that they can sell 100% more or less, depends on how they make the watch, so that they have a 100% return of investment. That way they can keep on going on and keep on making watches for the watch industry. Number 3, the 3rd reason why you should buy an homage watch is it will save you money. Now you may ask, why would it be saving money? Well, for one, you're not paying something that's costing you $10,000 or more. For example, you bought a watch, an iconic watch, a Rolex Submariner 40mm. Now the 40 mm size is not something you can gauge just by looking at it in the pictures. You need to have a feel for how it is on your wrist. Now, in order for you to get that, two things. You should buy the Rolex Submariner 40 mm, or you can buy an Homage watch. Now, if you're on the bigger side, bigger wrist side, I would say that the 40 mm watch is kind of small. You know, for me, it jumps from around 40 mm to 42 mm. So I would be wanting to get a feel first of how a 40 mm watch would be feeling in my wrist before getting the real thing. So an homage watch to the Rolex Submariner, for example, would be saving you a whole lot of money just in case you feel that the 40 mm watch is kind of small for you. Solution, just get a Rolex Submariner Homage, and there are lots of them. I mean, tons of them. Tons of them. If there would be an homage of something, I think it would be the Rolex Submariner that most of the watchmakers or most of the small guys are homaging to. It's a nice watch. One of the best watch. I would say that the Rolex Submariner would be one iconic watch design that has been the target of homage pieces ever since time immemorial. I could be wrong about the time immemorial part. Number 2, the second reason why you should be getting an homage watch is homage watches, they usually have the same specs as what the original watch is. For example, once again, let's go back to the Rolex Submariner. Now, Rolex, their entry-level watches, they would be using the 904L stainless steel. It's a really nice steel, softer than the 316L stainless steel. It scratches a little bit more. The watch that you're going to be buying, the homage watch that you're going to be buying, they're probably going to be using the same specs on the watch. Starting off with the case, that will be using a 904L stainless steel. The mineral glass would then be switched off to a sapphire glass. A sapphire glass would be a much more harder crystal to scratch than, say, a hardened mineral glass, or the worst would be an acrylic glass, a plastic glass. But the thing with plastic is you can just buff it out and it looks good again. So the case, the glass, and the movement inside. The movement inside, it's kind of hard to replicate. Well, there's Asian Valjoux ETA movement, the Swiss movement that the Rolex uses an in-house movement, but these movements, they are copied by their Asian counterparts as well, and it's up to you if you want to use that. But most of the homage watches, they use a Japanese movement. The two main brands that produce the movements, which is Seiko and Citizen. Seiko, when they produce their own movement and put it in their own watch, it's called a 7S26, 4R26, 4R36. But when they do make it for an outside third party, they name it the NH35 or the NH36. Now for Citizen, they do have the Miyota 8200, 8215, and so on and so forth. Now you cannot scoff at those movements, although it being Japanese, not a Swiss-made movement as compared to an original watch that they would be homaging. Imagine how many Seikos and Citizens are out there in the world. Millions and say billions. Billions? Billions. Billions. Alright, and the number one reason for me why you should get an homage watch is if you are the guy that sees a watch as a tool and not as a jewelry, that would be the best reason for you to get an homage watch. Like these two. This one tracks my heart rate, tracks my blood pressure, tracks my oxygen saturation, and this one is just something that tells time. It's even hard to tell time with this one. But this is a flight timer, just in case I would be doing some flying and doing calculations of how fast I'm going and a specific 100-mile chart. Watch as a tool, not as a jewelry. An Omega ambassador, Cindy Crawford, as I think I saw it in Hodinky, most of the time when she wears her watches, it's not even on time. You know, she just gets it from where she needs to get to and not even set the time. That piece functions as a jewelry as compared to a tool that tells you time. She probably has her phone like any of us, and that would be what tells us the time to an exact atomic level. Yeah. So in that regard, that will be my 5 reasons why you should be getting yourself an homage watch. Now, by no means this is knocking off any big branded names in it. They do their marketing, they do their advertising, and they put lots of money into it for a reason, because they know that their product is top notch. It's just it. There's no denying that they have a really good product. Not all of them. But yeah, let's just refer to Rolex. But of course, that's just my opinion, and you can always formulate an opinion based on what you like just by watching this. And in that note, thank you for watching the video. I do appreciate it. Subscribe and hit that like button if you do like the video, because it would help the channel a whole lot. And as always, this has been Alan. Thank you for watching Django Moto 1911, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.